Hello. This week we discuss the Europeans and their travels to the New World, which was North and South America. First of all, to start off with, the Native Americans that were in North and South America were a very diverse bunch. There were tons of different languages, religions, societies, civilizations that were happening. Probably the three biggest and the ones that you will probably recognize: the Aztec, the Inca, and the Maya. And they were all in Mexico and South America in that general vicinity. So keep that in mind. When Columbus first came and he landed in the Caribbean, not necessarily the United States, but in the Caribbean, there were already plenty of people living here. So the central question of this video is why? Why would people like Columbus be setting out on a voyage into the unknown in the first place? And the answer is partly money. The Europeans wanted a quick trade route to China and India to get the spices and the silks and the things that they wanted. And going overland was long and tedious, and it was getting very dangerous. So the idea was you try to find a simpler way to get there. And the Portuguese came up with the answer at first, and that was, sail around Africa. Go south, sail all the way around Africa, and come back up, and you'll end up in India, which is where you want to be. People like Vasco da Gama, for example, were sailing that way. It was Christopher Columbus, a Spaniard, who said, you know what, I think if we sail west, we'll get there. Now, the common misconception is that everybody thought the world was flat, and Christopher Columbus said, oh no, it's round, we can make it. No, the people generally thought that the world was round. They simply did not know how long it would take to cross the Atlantic, or exactly how big it was. So the fear was, can you have enough supplies on your ship? Can you have enough food? Can you have enough things to be able to last you the entire journey? The answer was they didn't know. And no one had really tried that before. So they were brave when they were trying that. And Columbus set out, and after a few months of hard, sailing and traveling and worry that they were not going to make it and that they were going to run out of food, they finally saw land, and they landed in the Caribbean on an island. And he was so sure that he had reached India and like islands off of India and China that he called the people that he saw Indians. That was his main message. Columbus set out because they were looking for an easy way to get to India and China, but also he had new technologies to thank that made sailing easier. He had the Renaissance to thank, which made science and technology and art and literature more available to him, and gave them sort of that enterprising, adventurous spirit. So have a look at your textbook for more information about that. So there are tons of reasons why people like Columbus are setting out. But once he does, and once he reports back that yes, there are things out there, and once they discover that no, it's not India, it's this whole new place that we never knew existed, then the floodgates open and tons of people start to follow in his footsteps. People like Cortez, for example, and Pizarro, both Spanish conquistadors. And for the Spanish, it's a gold mine, literally and figuratively. Not only are they finding gold, but they are also finding a lot of wealth just simply in the natural resources that they found in North and South America. So, what are the consequences here? Number one, the Spaniards are now your world power. They've got money, they've got tons of ships, They've got tons of land. The Spanish basically claimed all of what is South America for the most part, except for Portugal, except for Brazil, not Portugal, and most of North America. So think about that. That's a ton of land that the Spanish have claimed. They've got a ton of gold and money coming in from that. So the Spanish are hard to beat at that point for quite some time. It brings a lot of money and resources into the European economy, which also changes things. It changes a lot of things for the Native Americans that were living here. Cortez, for example, Pizarro, they conquer the Aztec and the Inca. So again, it's changing their lives. It brings what they called the encomienda system to the New World, which is essentially plantations, and they needed labor, so they end up forcing a lot of the Native Americans into working on those plantations. It brings Catholicism to North and South America, which is why to this day a lot of people in South America and Southern North America are Catholic, and speak Spanish. So you can see all of those consequences there. It's huge. And also don't forget that Columbian exchange, that exchange of people, goods, ideas, going from Europe to Africa to the New World. It brings up a lot of need in the New World in North and South America, especially for workers, which eventually is going to bring the need for slavery. So just keep that in mind. There is a lot of intrigue there, I guess you could say. And it does open the door for tons of other countries like the British, the French, the Dutch, to also want to colonize in North America. So keep a lookout for that. Thanks.